On today's episode, our salute to the bumper sticker, which may be a kind of dying object. I mean, people can use Twitter now if they want to say, "You're ugly and your mama dresses you funny." There's no need to put it on the back of your car. Bumpers are changing too. Our notion of identity and the way it's connected to our automotive choices is changing. But there also still is something so primal and fundamental about the bumper sticker. Maybe just sort of an anthropological habit that we will never entirely lose. So we will philosophize about the bumper sticker, and we will discuss its history and possible future.
Tell me why did I not think of this before? I had no clue this was an issue. Now my ideas are fully formed. I don't need my own opinion. Now that you've expressed yours, thanks to all those bumper stickers on your 96 Ford. You searched online all day.
Yes, today a show about bumper stickers. It's hard to do a show about bumper stickers on the radio because there's something implicitly visual about the bumper sticker, where it's placed, how it looks. I mean, it is an ocular experience. But we're going to do that anyway. We're going to do that radio show because we routinely do things that are not good ideas for radio shows. It's such a winning formula. So today we're going to talk about the philosophy of bumper stickers, the prevalence of bumper stickers, whether there's any kind of categorical umbrella under which all bumper stickers fit. We will talk specifically near the end about political or campaign bumper stickers. As you can tell, we are prepared to be comprehensive about this. We are nothing if not that. So joining us for the first two segments, Henry Hoke, a writer and author of the memoir Sticker, among other books. Jack Bowen is a philosophy teacher and author of If You Can Read This, The Philosophy of Bumper Stickers, among other books. All right, so Henry Hoke, maybe you can kind of get us going. Is there a way, I mean, bumper stickers do so many different things. They tell what vacation land you just were in, or what candidate you support, or how the driver of the car might feel about the driving of the car behind them, or they could be just sort of generally provocative. I used to see occasionally a bumper sticker that says, "You're ugly and your mama dresses you funny." And, and it's hard to even understand why that person would want to put that bumper sticker on unless he or she takes delight in being rear-ended. But there's so many different things, Henry. Are they in any sense all one thing?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I feel like so much of what I think about is just our performance of identity in a very committed way, right? To adhese it to your car and carry it with you throughout the world. Man, if I saw that one about, you're ugly, your mama dresses you funny, I think it would just destroy my soul entirely because I would take it very seriously. But I do think, it's so much about performance of identity. That's really what hinged around my book, was that I thought about it all the many ways I've attempted to do that through stickers.
Well, it's sort of one of the questions we'll be exploring all the way through here, I think, is whether or not that's something that's kind of rooted in a specific moment. I mean, it seems like there's so many other ways to perform your identity right now. You could tweet, "You're ugly and your mama dresses you funny," and more people would see it, and there would be less reason to fear physical harm coming to you, right?
Yeah. And I guess that's what I really connect with these days with bumper stickers, is they feel so obsolete. And when I see them, I think, okay, that was a major choice, because that person, right, they could have tweeted, they could have made it something in some kind of profile on some kind of, social media site. But instead, no, they were like, let's take this out into the physical realm. Let's take this into the world. And I think that's just such a bolder statement now. And I think, as you say, like that does make it like almost more confrontational and more explicit and strange to me. And so much of my book is about nostalgia and how we connect to sort of our hometowns, because, my hometown is Charlottesville, Virginia, and is very recently, on people's minds and in the news because of tragedy and white supremacy. But I think that in working through that, I was thinking about, like back then, bumper stickers were a big part of towns, of how people performed things. And now it really seems like, I don't know. I don't know many people that, I don't know people that drive cars that live in New York, but those who do, I don't know who would put a certain kind of bumper sticker, except for maybe a short-term political one.
Well, maybe it's a good moment to turn to our philosopher, Jack Bowen, philosophy teacher and the author of If You Can Read This, The Philosophy of Bumper Stickers, among other books. So, Jack, there is a way in which a bumper sticker, it kind of puts skin in your game in a way that maybe other sorts of declarations wouldn't, right? It's on your car. Somebody could kind of do some road rage stuff with you or key your car when you're not around. You are sort of risking something with a bumper sticker, unless it's, Virginia is for lovers or something like that.
Right. Well, I can almost pick up where Henry left off there. And you're getting off scot-free in a sense. Like on Twitter, if I'm going to go tweet about abortion and how great or terrible it is, whatever my position, I'm going to hear from people. People are going to scream back at me. But here I am at a red light, and I've got my abortion sticker, my political sticker, what have you, and I'm screaming at the person behind me, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's this odd moment where the bumper sticker owner gets to be emotional. They get to scream their pithy 8-word statement about a very emotional topic, often the case, and then drive off, and you do not get to tweet back. And I think there's some value for people in that part of it.
Although there are ways in which, and I think you've documented this, Jack, ways in which bumper stickers have conversations with other bumper stickers. For example, around here there was, and I think all over the place, there was a period of time where parents were putting these kind of these exhibitionistic bumper stickers on saying, my child was student at the month at X school, or my kid's on the honor roll or something. And then people would have bumper stickers saying, my kid beat up your honor student. And there's ways in which the bumper stickers do become a sort of protracted conversation, not in the moment, but on the road.
Right. And I think that's one of the really neat things. And there are a lot of those conversations happening, whether it's the Christian fish, and then they have the dinosaur is eating the fish, and then there are all these different versions of that, or the guns don't kill people, I think is the world record, where it's guns don't kill people, no, bullets do, no, I'm pretty sure guns kill people, no, drivers with cell phones kill people. So you actually, at that point, you are having a conversation. That part of the bumper sticker culture, I think, is really neat.
It does seem as though we're in a world right now that's more fraught, right? Anything could be provocative. Yeah. I think it was you who gave the example of your own initials, HH, maybe being something you don't want to put on a car anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Really thinking about things that would seem innocuous at another point in time, and seeing HH and associating it with it being like a code for white supremacy. And I think that, I used to be really intrigued by, because it's Heil Hitler, right? That's like another alt-right code, an 8-8, those kind of things. And so it was really like, I used to enjoy mystery bumper stickers, right? I love Jack talking about like these evolving conversational forms of a bumper sticker. But ones where I was like, what do those letters stand for? What does that mean? As a kid, I would like want to investigate. And now I'm like, I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to find out. And seeing the HH really evolved. It stood for Hilton Head. It was like a vacation destination. And then at some point, I started to think, okay, well, is that person into this vacation destination, or am I seeing more because of obviously these white supremacists that descended on my hometown? I think there's something really interesting about really how the performance has a lot to do with power. I was thinking about like the idea of, right, like what Jack said, you can't do anything about it. Like, because right, to instigate something in real life, to get out of your car, to rear end, to honk, these things are incredibly like confrontational. And so someone who wants to, flaunt something or goad you with something controversial or hurtful often thinks, okay, well, this person won't step to me, or I hope they do. Or like, and then that really feels potent right now. I see bumper stickers, I'm like, okay, well, this is full of horrible things, this car I'm behind, but what am I going to do about it? And part of those things might say, as Jack mentioned, like, I have a gun. It's like something that a lot of these bumper stickers perform. So it really becomes like a very intense experience, I think, these days.
It also can be kind of a secret handshake too. In fact, we had an instance here in Connecticut where one of our state senators had a sticker. I think it was more. I don't think it was exactly a bumper sticker, and we'll get into sort of the platonic question of what is and is not a bumper sticker. But it might have been one of those smaller stickers that sticks to the back window or something. But it was some kind of abbreviation for QAnon. It's the abbreviation that's where we go one, we go all. I think is what it means. This guy's a state senator. He's got a QAnon bumper sticker. And of course, because in fact bumper stickers don't exist in an automotive vacuum anymore, somebody took a picture of it and put it up on Twitter and said, how come this guy's got a QAnon sticker? So it can be, I mean, in a way, even the fish thing, it goes back to a secret handshake. That was supposedly a code for Christians at a time when they were persecuted, and is a Greek abbreviation for Jesus Christ, Son of God. So, So, Jack, one thing I want to talk a little bit about is its presence on the bumper. There's a way in which there's a lot of psychological research about the idea that for a lot of drivers, a car is an extension of their body. That it's a carapace. It's just this shell that they have that they're driving around. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with the idea of putting a sticker on that. Maybe it's a little bit like a tattoo.
Oh, I think it absolutely does. I mean, there are the political stickers where you're just putting your candidate's name or maybe a sports team affiliation where, it's a little bit of an in-group, out-group. This is my in-group, whether it's religion or sports or politics. But it also there's that emotional, and very often, a lot of these bumper stickers are rich with ethical statements. The one, listening to Henry talk, someone very near and dear to me, back when my book came out about 10 years ago, they printed up thousands of a particular bumper sticker that said pro-choice before conception, pro-life after. It's actually a pretty good bumper sticker, whether or not you agree with the message. So they slapped that on their car and they came home that night and said, wow, everyone on the roads are so aggressive today. It must be something in the air. And I said, when did you put that sticker on your car? And she said, this morning. And a lot of people were giving me the bird, she called it. I said, yeah, I think that's probably what's going on. And then she also started to notice people driving by and giving some big thumbs ups. So there you are getting that feedback. It's not the Twitter sort of feedback. It's, one finger or one thumb aimed at the driver because of what's being screamed at them.
Right. So there's so much to say. By the way, one of the ones that I like that sort of combines two concepts, there's one that says, do you follow Jesus this closely? Which sort of gets into the tailgating and the faith stuff all at once. But Jack, there is, and we should say that you're probably at a point where it's going to be a rare day for you to go out and drive around for an hour and see a bumper sticker you haven't already seen before. I know at one point, working on the book, you had like a Google Doc or something of 2,200 different bumper stickers. But one thing that bumper stickers can do is express whimsy. Some bumper stickers are just there because they're funny, right? You've got a few of those that you like. I like the one about how it's hard to fit everything onto. Say that one.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorites because in a fit of procrastination, I'm sure Henry can speak to this. Here I am writing under deadline. I'm like, what can I do besides write? I know I'll average the length of all these bumper stickers to see what the average length is. And it turns out of the number that I had on that doc, the average length of the bumper sticker, it contains 7.4 words, which is actually kind of impressive to be able to say something of meaning in 8 words or fewer. So the sort of pithy bumper sticker is, which I love because of this, is, and if you count out loud, it's 8 words. If it doesn't fit on a bumper sticker. Yeah. And then, maybe Colin, to answer your point, we, the viewer, get to fill it in. If it doesn't fit on a bumper sticker, then figure out a way to make it fit because you've got to simplify your message. Or the other end would be, if it doesn't fit on a bumper sticker, it's probably so important that you can't say it on a sticker, right? So there's actually 2 ways to look at that.
Yeah, and I want to go back, Henry, to your idea, too, of our sort of performing ourselves. Because that's another part of it. There are probably people who will never, ever put a bumper sticker on because they're extraordinarily private and they really are not interested in being known better or understood better by random stranger motorists. But there is, and I don't know if it's a uniquely American thing. I don't think I've ever looked in other countries for bumper stickers when I've been there. But there is something about Americans, right? We want to declare something to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, I have, with my, short travels, I've not seen the deluge of bumper stickers that I've seen in towns and highways in America. I think that it is really like it's a canvas, right? It's a canvas for expression, and like also car culture is something that like is very like aggressive here, and unfortunately very necessary because like public transport is extremely lacking in this country, and there's places where it's just almost impossible to exist without a car. And so I think that like part of it is like you want to be proud of your car. Your car does become part of your identity. You have to spend a great deal of money on your car. And there's some personalities that are right, like they would never touch it except to polish it, right? And there are some who are like, okay, well, now this is my canvas. This is my another part of me, another extension of myself. And so I'm gonna shout with it. I'm gonna perform with it. I'm gonna express with it. And I think that really becomes, especially when I was living in LA, it made it like it peopled the highway and the roads with personality, outside of just what kind of car people drove and how they drove it, and growing up in Charlottesville, especially, like there's a lot of cars that were just completely covered in bumper stickers, and they were often like, older cars. They're cars that people were not like proud of per se, but they were like, well, I want to give this some personality. Like I want to do a lot more with my car because I know that the car is not doing much for itself. It's not showing off much.
Right. Maybe what that car needs is a modification of a consistent bumper sticker trope, which is a bumper sticker that would say, "My other car doesn't have any bumper stickers." And to your point about people who would never do anything but shine the car, I can sort of combine two bits of our conversation so far and point out that when Kim Kardashian was asked in an interview if she had any tattoos, she said, "Would you put a bumper sticker on a Bentley?" Which is actually a pretty good comeback, actually. But to that point, yeah. And I think, Jack, there's a way in which Americans also value expression because, in fact, it's sort of just kind of written into the to the political structure of America. We should point out that in the one instance that I know of that this even got to the courts, there was a Georgia law that tried to ban bumper stickers that were lewd or offensive. And this went all the way to the state Supreme Court, I believe, over a bumper sticker that was a slight variation on the phrase "stuff happens," and the Supreme Court of Georgia upheld the right. So the peace of society is not endangered by the profane or lewd word, which is not directed at a particular audience. So, Jack, maybe this is kind of a little bit of an American thing, right? We want to say who we are. Sometimes it's ask me about my grandchildren. Sometimes it's like some kind of AA slogan, which I'm like, I was kind of surprised that people put their AA slogan, since anonymous is part of the concept, on the back of their car. But people are trying to say, this is who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's even that, I don't know, it's kind of a cute little trend, at least here in Northern California, where people put the little stick figures of their family. And then there's a mom and a dad and a son and two daughters and a dog and a cat. And then now they've got stick figures beating up the people, saying, I don't care what stick figures are in your family. They've actually got lewd versions of creating family members with stick figures that, you can imagine what those would be. And it is this odd identity stamp of saying, this is who I am and this is who I'm proud of. And it's certainly tied into social media. I mean, people are saying, like, here are pictures of my family on, Instagram every day. And here's my spouse who I love, and sort of announcing that to everyone and to strangers as a way of sort of inserting ourselves and maybe asserting ourselves. And on cars, we're allowed to do it because it's my car, and you have to sit there and look at it.
Yeah, I saw one that had a dinosaur eating the little stick figures. Yeah,
I've seen zombie families, all kinds of things, like all kinds of versions of that one. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, once again, there's something very performative about that, too, at least in the initial well springs of it. There's some kind of need that somebody had to say, okay, this is who's in my family. Although there's all kinds of other weird stuff that goes along with this, including in some areas, the police have discovered this, have discouraged this, because they say that if the little stick figure, if the dad is in the military and the kid is in a football jersey or something, people will assume that maybe they can burglarize this house because dad's not around. He's stationed in Germany now or something. This seems a little far-fetched to me.
God.
But maybe an example of how paranoid and divided we've become as a society. All right, we're going to grab a little break here. We're going to come back. We're going to have more of Jack and more of Henry on the other side of this.
Is there
So your mom got you.
Yes.
What is it, Peter?
The back of it, it's naked.
It's naked?
I'm seeing the bumper in the back, and it should be covered with stickers.
But does anybody really, like, read those?
That's what changed my mind. And when I started growing up in college, I would look at bumper stickers and go, that's my opinion, too. Now, this is the box of stickers I've collected over the years, so what better use than to give them to you, huh?
Yeah.
Here's a good one.
Honk if your family embarrasses the hell out of you. It's cute.
And but it's not true, so let's not use it.
4 out of 3 people have trouble with fractions.
No, it's really funny.
In the bumper sticker world, they call it the laugh line.
Don't get mad, get naked.
Peter, that is too much. No.
Celebrate diversity. Goddess, we trust.
I don't think any real Rastafarian is going to be offended by that. They would say, good on her.
Coexist.
Yeah, I think both.
Why have 2 of the same sticker?
Because the stickers are coexisting with each other.
And look at all the different religions. You got Turkey.
Turkey isn't a religion.
Have you been to Turkey?
No.
They pray like hell. That's all they do.
Yeah, but...
Don't be ignorant.
Okay, show me some more. Vegan vampire?
I didn't get it when I...
Is it a band?
Oh, maybe it's a band.
It might be a band.
Do you like music?
Yes. Beep. Adios, bichachos. Half man, half horse. The hell?
Yeah, half man, half horse.
To me, that reads like sexual innuendo.
I disagree. It's a political statement. Anti-horse racing.
Anti-horse racing?
Yeah, because, jockeys are so small that it looks like a half man, half horse.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, me too.
That's what it looks like to me.
All right, so joining us today, Henry Hope is a writer and author of the memoir Sticker, among other books. Jack Bowen is a philosophy teacher and author of If You Can Read This, The Philosophy of Bumper Stickers, among other books. So, Henry, there's a way in which, we've been talking about being performative, but there's also a way in which a bumper sticker reassures other people that they are not alone, that there are other like-minded people. In a way, that's one of the purposes of bumper stickers, which political bumper stickers, which we will be talking about in our final segment today. But there's a way in which, if you have like a COVID responsibility kind of, this is how far apart to stand kind of bumper sticker or something like that. I mean, yes, once again, there's the danger you're going to piss somebody off if there's an anti-vaxxer or something behind you. But there's also kind of a thing like sort of saying, yeah, I get it, and maybe you get it, and we're not alone.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and that does key in a little bit to the idea of like power, right? I guess I was getting in a Lyft in suburban Alabama the other day, and I saw they had like a rainbow flag bumper sticker, and I was just like, cool, like this is a queer friendly Lyft, and it's just like a nice thing to exist, especially, I guess in this culture of like, Lyfts and Ubers, and like we are just maybe getting into cars with strangers, and that's sometimes a fraught experience. Bumper stickers are pretty bold in that economy, in that world. And I guess I appreciate making space for people and affirming things, as opposed to sort of flaunting violence or anything like that. Acceptance is obviously something that I appreciate seeing out in the world, as opposed to just direct, like, whether it's, bragging or I don't know, or just direct violent confrontational statements,
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about Lyft and Uber. That's a really interesting point. How many people are getting into those cars these days? And the argument, I don't know if Uber and Lyft have policies about this. The argument could be made. First of all, it would be very reassuring to get into a car that had a rainbow bumper sticker on it, as opposed to my favorite movie is Saw or something like that. But I haven't.
Not mutually exclusive, but sure.
True. It's a matter of emphasis, I think, more than anything else.
Absolutely.
That also, as I was preparing for the show, I was also thinking about this idea which turns out, I think, not to be as statistically true as people think, that younger people don't want cars. Millennials in particular, it was alleged for a long time, didn't want to own cars, would rather get a zip car or take an Uber. This appears not to be true now. They are starting to buy cars kind of the way everybody else does. But Jack, it does raise a point, which is what's the primal relationship? For a long time in America, the car was symbolic of so much. If you looked at the advertising, it was just so clear. Your car was your identity. It was symbolic of freedom. If you listened to the music of Bruce Springsteen or the Beach Boys, the idea of, once again, the car being a source of adventure, being kind of who you really were, and I feel like that is fading a little bit. I see more stickers on laptops these days, and I wonder if that's because the laptop is kind of replacing the car.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I do think that social media has filled this void, whether it's TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, where you're getting that message out, or on Facebook. And also, yeah, I mean, my students, their laptops are covered with stickers, very often like actual bumper stickers. And I also think, I mean, this is more like the work of a sociologist, but if you look at cars now, they almost don't have bumpers on them, right? It's just the bumper area is just an extension of the car, as opposed to those like bumper car style bumpers where you're admitting that I'm going to be, driving around and bumping into people. And so you're not going to put a sticker on the actual car part. And so without the bumper there, and with all these other options, I think that's why we see people turning to that, and maybe not as many bumper stickers as we'd seen, 10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was sort of informally polling people on Facebook, and one guy, Kurt, wrote, I could put stickers of the political, civic, educational, and professional organizations that I have been a part of, but I fear those organizations would be judged harshly based on my predilection for driving like a jerk at times. So there is a way in which you are sort of, you're making kind of a commitment to represent something when you do that. But Henry, I'm also thinking about the fact, particularly given the nature of your book and it being kind of a sticker memoir, I mean, the other thing that's really stickers have been these kind of magnetic things, which you can take on and take off. And I don't think it's a stretch to say this is a suggestion that our loyalties are increasingly fungible, we'll be big fans of X, for the next few weeks, and then we'll just take it off.
Right. Yeah. I think that's really important. I think about that a lot, about this performativity being both fleeting and feeling like action right now. And I think, the commitment of a bumper sticker just feels different. I mean, I think that the commitment of like changing your profile picture to, the Ukrainian flag, BLM steadfastly, hopefully in a lot of ways, there's a lot of things that show support. But I think that there's a sense that like doing these things is just an action, and then like you shift to the next action, you shift to the next subject. And for I think a lot of people, there's a sense of like, that's enough, maybe, right? Like that performativity is enough, and maybe fills in for action. I guess I think about in general, like car culture and the idea of like, millennials not buying cars. I guess I think that like, I hope that we rely less and less on cars. I mean, as we progress, I feel funny with like, climate change messages on cars. It's very complicated, right? It's just an incredibly strange thing to witness, but we're witnessing it, and it's like NFTs that are advertising like sustainability. Like there's just so many things that are incongruous with that. We do have to start shifting larger systems, and these small statements on these things that are part of this massive machine that's killing the world is just it's a wild thing to witness and to sort of be a part of, and it can't help but be really oxymoronic, I think.
Well, actually, that leads us, Jack, rather neatly, in the oxymoronic part, into the Colorado State University study that you cite about bumper stickers. Tell our audience about that.
Yeah, that actually came out the year before I was starting to write this book in 2009. And on the one hand, the findings aren't that surprising, right? They found that people with bumper stickers were considerably more likely to exhibit road rage, like signs of road rage, whether it's aggressive horn honking or hand gestures of certain types. But the really interesting thing was it had nothing to do with the style or type of message. So both the person with the bumper sticker, my kid beat up your honor student, and the person with the bumper sticker practice random acts of kindness. It was the fact that they were the sort of person that was going to go to the trouble of buying a sticker, cleaning the bumper, placing the sticker, and sort of, shouting out to the world their ideas. If you have a bumper sticker, you're considerably more likely to exhibit road rage. And that goes for the practice random acts of kindness bumper sticker owners.
And presumably coexist.
Yes.
Coexist with this jerkface.
Exactly.
But I mean, Jack, if we could sort of tease that out a little bit. I mean, think the suggestion is if you are that kind of person for whom the car is this declarative space, for whom the car is an extension of identity, probably you're going to do stuff with your car. If you're that kind of person, you've got bumper stickers and that's why you're doing it, you're going to do stuff with your car that also reflects your identity or your feelings at the moment. You might not be reined in as much by whatever the traffic laws are or the societal conventions preventing road rage would be, you and your car are kind of a law unto themselves.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, it's not a surprising finding. It's sort of self-selecting. Students who elect to take my philosophy course are chomping at the bit to discuss really big ideas. They're not sitting there quietly and just listening to me lecture. Someone who's got a bumper sticker has stepped into that realm. There's someone who wants to be heard. They want you practicing random acts of kindness, and they're gonna let you know it.
Right. Henry, we talked a little bit about the idea. I do think that one of the things that bumper stickers do, and it's right there in the title of Jack's book, is comment on people's driving or what we wish another person's driving might be a little bit more like. And there are an awful lot of, if you can read this, you're following too close, and then variations on that. And I think somebody sent me one that was a red bumper sticker that says, if this looks blue to you, you're driving too fast. But you had one from your own life or from the father of a friend, maybe, that
Yes.
Contained a unique threat. Why don't you mention that one?
Yeah. So, and I was thinking about how things were formative, like bumper stickers, like you might see the S word, curse word for the first time because of bumper stickers when you're a kid. But this one was, my friend's dad. His was, tailgate me and I'll flick a booger on your windshield. And it was great for us kids, like if you tailgate me, I'll flick a booger on your windshield because A, it said booger. But B, we were just like, okay, whoa, this is like a really interactive space that we're in. Like, we're not just like on the road in our bubble. This person's ready to start something,
Yeah, and I mean, I find myself wondering, as I was thinking about all that and preparing for the show, whether anybody has ever been dissuaded from tailgating by any of these kinds of bumper stickers. I feel like the kind of people who tailgate you, first of all, they're probably not even able to read; they're so supercharged with rage. But I feel like that nobody's ever thought, you know what? Maybe I should sort of tap the brakes a little bit, give this guy a little bit more space ahead of me. I don't think any bumper sticker sort of gets to the person in that particular way. So, Jack, we should just talk a little bit since we're on the subject of boogers. We should also talk about just bumper stickers that do amuse us. And you've got a few of them, a few favorite ones that are just kind of funny. Either that are funny or profound or a little bit of each. Do you want to mention one or two of your favorites?
Well, I will say one that maybe is both is, what if the hokey pokey is what it's all about? And again, that's a little generational, and it is meant to be silly, but I actually have thrown this out at a dinner party when I was starting to write the book, and I threw it out there, and all of a sudden people were actually having the discussion that, as a philosopher, I would like people to be having at dinner parties all the time, but I'm not allowed to bring up things like, what is the meaning of life and what is the purpose of life? But all of a sudden people are saying, yeah, wait a minute, can't someone's hokey pokey just be like the real meaning of life? Like, that's what life is about, finding your hokey pokey and doing it. So I think that's one of the beauties of bumper stickers, is there certainly is a sense of playfulness built into them that also allows you to get at really big picture things.
Yeah, I liked one of the ones on your. First of all, I feel like the hokey pokey book. You need to write that now. I mean,
it's on my to-do list.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't ever really. I mean, first of all, I'm always up for a hokey pokey joke, always. Although I feel as though you're right, the audience for them is dying off. You're going to have to transition them to Macarenas or something like that somehow. But and even that audience is probably dying off at this point. But yeah, I mean. Even the kind of thing that sort of makes you think. I mean, Jack, you've got one that says, if ignorance is bliss, then why aren't more people happy? Yeah,
that's one of my favorites. I mean, that's a great entree into, you can almost use that, and I have, to teach Plato's allegory of the cave. And is ignorance bliss? It actually might be, but maybe we don't want bliss. It turns out we want something more than bliss. And so I use that to get into Plato's cave in my own class. So again, it's playful, but it's got something really deep couched in it. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, took them 10 words to do it.
Yeah. And we'll do one more, and that is, and this is, I don't think I've ever put a bumper sticker on my car. I could be wrong about that, but I would put this bumper sticker on, the one that says, "This is not a bumper sticker." The problem with that, Jack, is how many people are going to get the Magritte reference?
Yeah, well, I just love that because I love Magritte, and it forces you to, reflect on, the role of language and to wait, who gets to say what art is or what art isn't? Who gets to say what a bumper sticker is? Is that a matter of fact, or is there something deeper? And in this case, there's not. Like, there's just blatant contradiction going on.
Right. So, Henry, we talked about the stick figures, but we didn't talk about, and I don't see them as much anymore, the stickers that used to say baby on board. And I never quite understood baby on board. I mean, like, don't hit my car the way you ordinarily would because there's a baby in here, or my genitalia work fine, or what are they trying to say to us?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I guess, I feel like I saw one that I really liked that was somewhat surreal, but now I can't remember what it was. But I thought about that with the Magritte reference one, but like, I love anything that adds surrealism. But I don't know, that's another one of those, like, I mean, I understand the idea, like it's like student driver on board. It's like someone's going to drive pretty poorly. That one's like, maybe you should drive more cautiously. Like, it's sort of imposing something on fellow drivers. So think, okay, well, there's a small child. So yeah, maybe I won't tailgate them. Maybe I won't. And as you said, the true, destructive drivers are not reading bumper stickers to make sure that everybody's going to be fine around them. So, it's another one of those things about performing like care, maybe. I guess I think about that, I think there's partially, I think more so than like the, heteronormative, like lineup of your family, or whatever, in stick figures. I think more about like that maybe like, it's just saying like, okay, let's show care for each other when there's maybe an even more vulnerable person involved here. And that's interesting to me. And I think that is something that I don't know if I think I appreciate just drawing our attention to care in a space like that's so wildly dangerous and destructive of driving. Like, throughout all of the risk we've been taking in this pandemic, like it's still like there's so many articles in the New York Times. It's like, it's actually more dangerous to get in your car to drive to the store than it would ever be to be exposed to COVID, And I keep thinking that like we're in these machines. And so something like that does make me think like, okay, yeah, like here's a moment where we're like, okay, there's humans in a speeding metal structure right now. There's children, there's a generation, these kind of things. I don't know. I appreciate it in the same level I appreciate the surrealism, is that it makes me think for a moment. It makes me like step outside of myself and my, bubble and my moment. And I think that's powerful.
That is very nicely put, too. We're going to stop there. Henry Hoke is a writer and author of the memoir Sticker, among other books. Jack Bowen is a philosophy teacher and author of If You Can Read This, The Philosophy of Bumper Stickers, among other books. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk to a specialist in political memorabilia about the political bumper sticker.
Out on the road today, I saw a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac. A little voice inside my head said, don't look back, you can never look back. Thought I knew what love was, but did I know? Those days are gone forever, I should just let them go. I can see you, the birds get shining in the sun. You got the top pulled down, radio on, baby. I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the poison summer.
All right, we're back. So time to thank Kat Pastor, and who's our technical producer, and senior producer Lily Tyson, who's also the producer of this particular episode. We are going to close with the subject of political bumper stickers, and they have been around. We didn't even really say this at the beginning, but so cars started having bumpers, I think, around 1927. I think bumper stickers took another 20 years to happen. But one of the first things that got done with them, I believe, once they did happen, was the political bumper sticker. Here to tell us more, Claire Jerry, a curator of political history for the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. Welcome to our conversation.
It's been a great one so far. I'm really glad to be here.
Well, you're going to add to it even more. So what do we know about political bumper stickers? I mean, first of all, they are something that for a long time campaigns considered to be pretty important. Important to get the bumper stickers printed up on time, get them in the field, get them in cars, just probably as a way of suggesting, well, lots of people like Ike.
Absolutely. And that's, in fact, when the bumper sticker started. Now, there were political attachments on bumpers from the first bumper. They were made of metal or paper, and they were tied onto a bumper at that time. But when bumper stickers, as we know them, came into technological being after World War II, the bumper sticker started in politics with that Eisenhower-Stevenson campaign in 52.
Right. And so, and bumper stickers usually, particularly a political bumper sticker, it's probably a mistake to make it too complicated. Like, I like Ike is probably, the ideal level of complexity, although we should probably point out that there was also an I like Ike, but I'm voting for Stevenson bumper sticker.
Right. And I was thinking about the length that you talked about in your last segment. There was one that says, I like Ike too, but I think Taft would make a better president. Long for a bumper sticker. So they are mostly short, the candidates' names, maybe when Spanish language bumper stickers, it was usually Viva Kennedy, Viva Nixon, about as short as you could get.
So we should mention one or two bumper stickers that are way too complicated. The one that jumped out at me from your work is the Goldwater one that is based on the periodic table of elements.
Right, where the whole bumper sticker is AuH2O. Now, I don't know if that suggests that people were more scientifically literate in 1964, or if you just had more time to try to figure it out while you were tailgating the person with that sticker. One that I like is "This GM car is for Ford" from the Ford Carter election. Then now I've got to look and see what brand of car is in front of me at the same time that I'm reading the bumper sticker. One that's complicated for me is one that we have in our collection that says Lyndon's Bridge is falling down. It meant something to people in 1967, 64. What is it? I had to look it up. There were several speeches that Johnson gave where he talked about building bridges to the countries of Eastern Europe. And this was an anti-Lyndon Johnson, but it's a message today that doesn't immediately jump out at us.
So, yeah, that's kind of a deep cut if you have to know that many things. Although, one of the theories of humor is that humor is funny usually because you supply something that's missing. So there's probably a way in which some of the ones that you just gave, the person behind your car, it has to mentally supply one missing piece, or in the case of the periodic table of elements, quite a few missing pieces
right.
to understand what it is. But there's probably a greater sense of reward and delight, more dopamine or something being secreted once you figure all that out. So that also raises the question of why do people put political bumper stickers on their cars? Do they do it for the campaign? Do they do it for themselves? Do they do it to evangelize others? Do we know much about that or suppose much about it?
There's actually a lot of good persuasion theory behind why people put bumper stickers on their car or even wear a button or put a yard sign out. That it's not just that I'm hoping my neighbor will see it or the person behind my car will see it, but it's that if I'm willing to make that public commitment, I'm more likely then to do what the campaign wants me to do, which at the most basic level is vote for that candidate, maybe give money to that candidate. But if you can get me to put a bumper sticker on my car, you can have greater certainty that I'm actually going to go to the polls and do what you want me to do. Then if somebody else is persuaded by my bumper sticker, that's almost a bonus.
Yeah, and I do think, and I live rather closely with people who have managed political campaigns, that there's a thought from within the campaigns that, and it kind of goes back to something I said in the preceding segment, that there's something reassuring about kind of populating the roads with, just in the same sense as lawn signs. People don't necessarily get off on lawn signs or love lawn signs, but I've certainly heard it said, well, there aren't as many lawn signs for candidate X as there are for candidate Y. I'm not seeing that many candidate Y lawn signs. That could be a bad sign. And there is a sense that if candidate X has lots of bumper stickers all over the roads, it's a way of people saying, well, it's not a weird idea to support candidate X. Look at how many bumper stickers there are.
Right, because they really are mobile billboards. You take them everywhere you go, and you can take them someplace, and when you park your car, you don't even have to be there for someone to get the message that you want. One of my most favorite, more recent bumper stickers was one that Bernie Sanders circulated in 2020, where on the back, on the piece of paper you're going to peel off to put it on your car or on your laptop computer, there's a statement about why is he producing bumper stickers, and that bumper stickers are cheap. You don't have to have big ticket donors to buy a bumper sticker. And he actually says, if we get a huge groundswell of support of bumper stickers, we'll be unstoppable. So it goes exactly to the point that you just made.
So there's also a way in which, because bumper stickers are somewhat hard to remove, I guess maybe they've gotten a little bit easier. There's ways to make them, not just the magnet ones, but there are ways to make actual stickers a little easier to remove. But they sort of become part of, I don't know. You were saying that a bumper sticker is a moving billboard, but 4 years, 8 years after the relevant campaign, bumper stickers are also kind of rolling Smithsonians in the sense that, I'll give an example from my own life. Also in this same family I'm talking about, we are all related to Bill Curry in some way or another. Bill Curry has run for governor here in Connecticut twice, and every once in a while, but the last time was in 2002, and every once in a while I'll be in a parking lot somewhere and there'll be, a car or a truck with a Curry for governor bumper sticker. And there is, I think, some of the feelings are evoked that probably cause people to come to your exhibits, right? A sense of, oh yeah, that was a certain time.
People do love to have that connection of, I recognize that object mattered to me too, I don't have mine anymore. And I think it depends probably a little bit on where you live. Whether you go ahead and leave that bumper sticker on, because you could vote for a candidate and they might not win the election, but everybody around you voted for that person too. So there's still a sense of community. And then, of course, people after the fact produce new bumper stickers that say, don't blame me, I voted for, the person who lost, and just slap that on over top of their old one or next to it.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. All right, and those are good, actually. So yeah, we should just, in the time we have left, talk about the future of all this. I mentioned earlier there's some theories that maybe some younger people are likely to use Zip cars or Uber or Lyft. You can't put your bumper sticker on that. There are other people probably really see their cars as investments that they don't necessarily want to tart up with bumper stickers. So what are you seeing in terms of the reliance by political campaigns and operatives on the bumper sticker?
I would say that when I was out in the field during, say, the primaries of 2020, not every headquarters had bumper stickers they were handing out. Sometimes now campaigns are less likely to give things away. They want you to be purchasing them, or the vendor wants you to purchase them. But I think the campaigns that perceived that they were in it for the long haul were all had bumper stickers as an option. So I think campaigns are still investing in them. And then, as your previous guest said, there are other places you can put them. On a laptop, you can put them in the window of your car if you don't want to put them on the body of your car. You can put them on your backpack. And you are seeing people find other creative ways to use them. They're still very, very popular, maybe not as widespread as a button would be, but I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
Yeah, and there's no way to know this short of heuristics, but I also feel like in instances where people feel the campaign is historic somehow, they're probably more likely. How many ways do you have, if you're an average person, to participate in a historic moment? I'm thinking of 2008 in particular, where, Obama's candidacy was so incredibly historic. I think there are probably other ways that alarm me that in 2016, Trump's candidacy was seen as a different kind of historic thing. But, if there's such a thing as a routine presidential election, I don't know, Bush versus Kerry in 2004 or something, I'm thinking people would be less inclined to go get that bumper sticker, because what is it really saying, as opposed to, say, Obama in 2008?
That's an interesting question, and one I'm going to actually go back to our collection and look at, because I'm always intrigued with the offer of a donation that comes to us. Somebody goes through their grandparents' attic and says, oh, I have these things from this election. By definition, a bumper sticker that can be donated to us 40 years after the fact was never put on the car, getting them with the paper still on the back and that kind of thing. So are those sort of less historic elections, are people collecting them as, this is something I want to hang on to from the election, as opposed to, this is something I'm going to go out and put out in public? That's a really good question.
All right. Well, to be continued then. Claire Jerry is a curator of political history for the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. We are all done for the day. Thanks to everybody who helped out on the show. And thanks to you for listening.
Gas, but a hauls ass, there ain't no such thing as driving too fast. Bumper, bumper, everybody's got a bumper sticker. A bumper, bumper, and everybody's got a bumper sticker. Well, it's bumper to bumper, and everybody's got a bumper sticker. Bumper to bumper, and everybody's got a bumper sticker.